In sports, there is something called telegraphing the pass. It means the player made it too obvious to the defense what they were about to do, leading to a turnover. Disinfo shills basically telegraph the lie. It's part of their job duty to nod or otherwise interact non-verbally with their coworkers. Another aspect to look for is disinfo shills getting triggered either by their own words or by a coworker. Oz talks about abolishing the police. Shanda and Redneckonomics have subtle yet strange reactions. They were clearly triggered.
J9 Campbell. Gin 10 cops to brutalize a child. Hashtag ACAB and abolish the police. Yes, J9 Campbell, we are so with you 100%. Yeah, I think we got everybody now. Caitlin Johnstone. This is, again, and this is where Oz...
Here's another part where CIA asset is mentioned. Just let those brain wires go back and forth. It can happen very quickly within our minds. Our brains are amazing. It's a leap of faith. You have to work with the brain. Brain is both memory and consciousness. It's hard to fathom how they can both be in operation simultaneously.
Shanda and I have talked about this. Jen Psaki and Nazi Barbie, they have a book, and that book has got tabs in it. And I was telling Shanda this morning, Jen Psaki's just good at anticipating the questions, much better than Nazi Barbie was, because we could see Nazi Barbie flipping through her book on the talking points.
Right.
Now,
Jen's got them memorized.
Yeah. Yeah. Jen, she's a sharp CIA asset. Oh, did I say that? But yeah, they have a book, and their people figure out, or they get the questions from reporters before the meeting. So.
None of us is invincible. Willpower can only accomplish so much. Shanda says something, she reads out a tweet or something, some quote, and then Oz goes, "No shit." That's a triggering phrase, because there was a movie, a Sherlock Holmes movie a comedy starring Gene Wilder, and the big line that everyone caught on to, that we all knew, that we all repeated, it was, "No shit, Sherlock." These people are co-workers. They are forced to fake like each other. It's gonna emerge, however, no matter how professional one thinks they are, no one is stronger than reality.
The Gravel Institute. Go ahead.
You got it?
No, you got it.
No real person actually cares if the stimulus bill is bipartisan. They care if they can't afford food and rent at the end of the month.
No shit. And all this feel-good stuff rolling back to Obama era stuff. Yeah, okay, go ahead, do that. But didn't work out so well for the 2016 campaign.
There are limits to the brain. There are limits to consciousness. I'm not trying to put us down as organisms. I'm just saying we can learn a lot about other people and things through pure observation, through pure faith in one's organism. Okay, let's break down some Whitney Webb on Slow News Day with Glory. Slow News Day and Glory seem to give off a marijuana type aura shtick. Gets a little bit groovy here and there, and I wonder about heroin. I don't know much about heroin. I don't know much about much except for marijuana, which is convenient for myself because weed is legal. The other stuff isn't. I never went near the other stuff anyway. I was smart enough to know that cocaine and heroin type garbage would ruin me. Marijuana is a completely different story. It's emerging that it's a wonder drug, but I digress. Let's go to the Slow News Day, Glory, Whitney Webb, reverse psychoanalysis or whatnot, whatever I'm doing here, body language analysis. I want folks to truly try to pick up on, to observe the nonverbal communication going on between the coworkers. And even if someone is referred to as a guest, no, those are co-workers. They want people to think this is some organic grassroots movement. So there's a lot of fake agreeing and nodding and support for one another, but if you absorb the body language, if you let those brain wires move about, if you stay within the realm of truth and sincerity, I say you, the universal you, I'm not trying to digress or whatnot. I use you in the sense of Krishnamurti, the way he spoke. He didn't mean you. You was a philosopher. That's all I'm trying to do also. Check out this glory person. She's telegraphing that it's their job description. It's their role to do that fake gesturing, that nonverbal stuff that I ask people to keep an eye out for. These are modern day silent movie actors. I started to sense some bitterness. These people, they gaslight themselves, they trigger others, they trigger themselves. What I want to digress into right here, because it's not really digression, is to have us think a little bit about Schumer, the comedian. I forget her first name. Schumer, what's her name? I don't know why I can't remember her first name, but Amy Schumer, that was it. That's it, or that is it. I think for a moment I was thinking of Amy Winehouse, so that would be. And now I'm thinking about the whiny man, but Amy Winehouse would have been a was. And that is a pure digression. God, now I forget what I'm trying to say. This is going to be impossible to edit. Oh, okay. It's all about the Batman thing. They get a thrill out of pulling the wool over someone's eyes. They like to be able to act and get away with it and have others believe what they're saying. They want to outsmart Columbo. They want to outsmart Jenny Jones or whoever. The damn rather. I can't think of a good example, but Joe Pine, or Morton Downey Jr. They want to go up against Morty Downey Jr. or Don Imus or whatever. Pick a name, and they want to win. They want to be the winner. Amy Schumer. Is it Amy? Now I don't remember Amy. Yeah, Amy Schumer got a thrill out of stealing jokes and getting away with it. That's the thrill that Carson and all his other free Sonic buddies got away with. It was a thrill for them. Although it was so very obvious. And when things leak out, that's where the Schadenfreude begins. That's where the good guys get some wins. So what we have here is Whitney Webb from a much greater weight class than Slow News Day and Glory. There's a reason why Whitney Webb was plugged. It's because she's the best at it. She can act. She can move her brain wires around or whatever. Not moving them around, but maybe she's an Aspie, but she's able to think on her feet. She knows what her job is. So she's able to talk up Prism or Peter Thiel, cops, agents, that type of thing, those internal trigger words for themselves. I had a video with a clip of Redneckonomics giggling as an effect of her own thought that the FBI has been conning us for like 100 years or whatever. She said it's going on a long time, and then she giggled. So Schumer got a thrill from that too. And Whitney Webb starts talking about Prism, FBI, and it basically triggered the heck out of, maybe not FBI. I just took some notes. It's very difficult for myself to put these together. I try with some stuff where I give a live stream type version of what you're watching. It should be fairly obvious when that's going on. And then I line it up after. I'm sort of like that band Boston. It's all about layering. But best case scenario, we'll have no edits and it's a live stream. I can't even think of live streaming. I think you need 1,000 subscribers. So I'm nowhere near being able to do that. I don't even have a phone to give the number to get verified, so I can have unlimited minutes. Oh, this is definitely pure digression now.
Like, why haven't any of these domestic terror arrests by the FBI rounded up DC Capitol Police yet? Why has there been no testimony given to Congress. I guess they're too interested with impeachment, right? Of the head of DC police being like, I put your lives in danger because I'm incompetent. I guess that's what he'd say. But it's worth looking into that guy, because before he was DC police commissioner, and he presumably was the guy that was responsible for saying, lacks police presence, or, absurdly incompetent, or what, complicit, really, police presence, it technically stands on his shoulders, right? Or sits on his shoulders. Ugh. Anyway, if you look back at his work history, he used to work for a U.S. government contractor called Nobles, and had a big executive position there. And they're all tied up with like MITRE Corporation and a lot of these really spook, intelligence community contractors. Their board of trustees is chaired by our good friend Michael Chertoff, the former head of DHS, and who's also on the board of the coming pre-crime program that's going to be a key part of this war on domestic terrorism, Carbine 911, funded by Peter Thiel of Palantir, and that intelligence linked pedophile known as Jeffrey Epstein. So
Oh, we forgot to wish a happy birthday to like the 0 day for pre-crime. Wasn't that like what, last week that division officially like opened for business?
Whitney Webb triggered these people. Slow News Day. They're all part of the network. Anyone who has looked into these people, they can see how they're linked up to tons of names at this point. One disinfo show, them all, apparently. Finally, on this episode, this Tokyo Shemp Show episode titled Telegraphing the Scam, here is a little bit of Lee Camp with Jordan Chariton. They're mentioning Ford Fisher. Ford Fisher's linked to Tim Pool and InfoWars. All these people are tied to the hip. Every ideology that mirrors the mainstream media is promoted as alternative media. To be alternative, however, would be to go one's own way. There would be no reliance on the format of everyday newspapers that get the check marks. Lee Camp is a paid fake. Jordan Chariton is just another informant paid fake. Whitney Webb is the easiest to just say, like, who is Whitney Webb, to ask who is Whitney Webb. And you just know that she's a fake, going on with working with Ryan Christian, linked to Adam Grant. This stuff couldn't be more obvious. They overplay the cards. They push things too much. They definitely can never conceive of a person like myself putting together this type of investigation, this type of sleuthing. Back in the day, they didn't expect it, but it worked out for myself in regards to the Kimberlin thing, 2010, 2011. I made an impact for that, and it was all the same type of thing that I'm going on today. I linked H.A. Goodman to the racket. He linked himself to the racket. He plugged some backwater COINTELPRO website called Breitbart Unmasked. And then the connections with Goodman to Ebon and Mana Talk, Nico, and they just keep going on and on. Oh, Lee Camp was trying to act as if he has no idea who Convo Couch is, as if they're not the big player, along with Graham Elwood. They all mention each other. And the HA's mentioning Styx and Tim Pool, they always come out with a list. They always nod and act the same generic way when they're supposed guests on each other's shows. Okay, I'm done. I've talked enough. I can talk and talk and talk. But then that means I'll be up all night editing. I'm pretty sure there are a few people out there who are on the same page with myself. Those folks, I thank you. We're not crazy. We see that these are paid fakes, and it's good to know that. It means we're not getting gaslit. Oh, and then to wrap up the show, I wanted to do a little body analysis of Buster Keaton in this movie, The General, but I see that I'm sort of out of time. Perhaps I'll try that another time. Time after time. Cyndi Lauper. Time after time. Trolls just want to have fun.